Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome to the BMI Baby Elite Ice Hockey League here on Sky Sports. It's the British Knockout Cup, first leg between the Basingstoke Bison and the Coventry Blaze. Well, we can confirm the Coventry Blaze are now the league champs. They're on for the treble, but can the Basingstoke Bison ruin their party and bring some silverware home to the herd themselves? Alongside of me, Dave Sims. Dave, how you doing, buddy?
I'm very well. Looking forward to a final. Always a big day in ice hockey, and probably one of the biggest days in the Basingstoke Bison's history. And it's a huge night for them.
Okay, we'll talk about the British Knockout Cup in a bit, but first of all, we've got to congratulate the Coventry Blaze and Paul Thompson on defending their championship. And this is how they did it.
Well, yes, I told you back in the second week in November they were going to do it, Nick, and they did. Jonathan Weaver was the man. 2 goals. They came from behind as well, Nick. Belfast came out strong, took a 1-0 lead, but Weaver with the first, and then you'll see, he'll come back to Weaver in a minute, and Weaver with a second,
He
just over the glove.
Anybody.
Like heck he didn't.
Yeah.
But no, Jonathan Weaver was outstanding, and only his second game back after that 11-game spell. We're going to see Curtis Huppy get the third one here.
Lyle guilty of the giveaway in front there. And
yeah, that's right, and you can see Huppy against his former team. He wasn't very happy about it, though, was he?
No. But the Coventry Blaze, and then to put the icing on the cake there, Cloutier in front, and I mean, you got to say, hand on heart, I know you did predict that they were going to win the league before Christmas, but these just look at these moments here, and they did deserve it, didn't they?
They did deserve it. They haven't had an easy run as well. They've had injuries, they've had some adversity. They soaked their coach Paul Thompson, and that man there, Sylvain Cloutier, not the top goal scorer, not the top point scorer, not the biggest tough guy, but the best leader in the league, and he's one of the reasons they've won.
And he's in my all-star lineup.
Yeah, you stole him.
Yeah, so again, congratulations to the Coventry Blaze on being the 2007-2008 league champs. Let's talk about tonight's game now.
Yeah. Completely, 100%. This is Basingstoke Bison's season. They should have made the playoffs, but because of probably off-ice happenings, Nick, change of ownership, only having 10 or 11 skaters for the last 2 months, without Thornton for 13 weeks, the challenge cup went, the league went, and really the knockout cup. This is their life and soul tonight, and having the first leg here is the big hope for them.
So the Coventry Blaze, a little bit hungover from winning the league championship. Can the Basingstoke Bison win this game?
They can win the game, and it's something that Paul Thompson has said. I hope our guys get up for this first period, because Basingstoke will come out. It's a tough ring to play in, even when you are up for it, but Basingstoke will come out. This is their whole year. Coventry have had their year. They've still got the playoffs to come. And I honestly think Basingstoke, especially first 20 minutes, they've got to give it their all. Can leave nothing in the dressing room tonight, everything on the ice.
Okay, well, let's have a look at some of the results from around the league. Let's start off on last Saturday, Dave.
Yeah, well, Basingstoke again, losing at home to Cardiff. Coventry pretty much wrapping the league up there with that 6-4 win. Going to Sunday. Sheffield, well, they still had to beat the Cardiff Devils. They did that. Edinburgh, an important win, huge win against Manchester. That took them 2 points ahead of Basingstoke into a playoff slot. And as we said, Belfast going down in Coventry. Last night, of course, Nottingham giving Basingstoke a thumping. And a lot of players rested by Ryan Aldridge for that game.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but now let's have a look at the table. And of course, we can confirm, Coventry winning the league. But then, Dave, you look mid-table. There's still a lot of jostling going on. And again, down low, Manchester and Edinburgh and Basingstoke all battling it out.
The only jostling, I think, is 3rd and 4th, Nottingham, Belfast. And let me tell you, they don't want Cardiff. Word around the league is, and remember, 4th place plays 6th place. If Cardiff stays 6th, nobody wants to finish 4th. Nobody wants to go down to Wales for the first round of the playoffs. Okay,
I want to talk about that 7-0 loss that Nottingham incurred on Basingstoke. Now, is that going to be a psychological thing? Did Basingstoke go up there to rest players? What went on?
Well, Ron Aldridge tells us that a lot of his players were ill. They were sick. He took a few youngsters into Nottingham, and You know, they got the backside stumped. They were never going to risk a single player. And I feel for Nottingham. They had to put an event on, you know, the other night. They had to sell an event, and a very understrength Basingstoke team went in there. And, you know, from an entertainment point of view, Basingstoke didn't deliver their duty as an away team. But you know what? Ryan Aldridge won't give a monkeys about that. He's only interested in putting a performance in tonight.
You got to put silverware in your trophy cabinet for your fans.
And Basingstoke would have come into this season not expecting to win a trophy, and here they are in the knockout cup final with a huge opportunity. And you know, in the area, in their media, everything, if they can win here, it just drives them on as a club. Wish them luck.
Okay, well, you caught up with Ryan Aldridge and Paul Thompson. Here's what they had to say.
Paul, just a few days since a league championship, but there won't be a hangover going into a cup final, will there?
I hope not, Dave. I really do hope not. No, it's a cup final. I think everybody knows the importance of a cup final, and we're expecting a tough night tonight.
Basingstoke always play hard in here, but they have got only a few bodies, haven't they? Is that something that you'll take into account going in?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've been playing with 10, 11, 12 guys over the last month or so, and well, probably longer than that. And all credit to them. They keep grinding out results. They're still in that hunt for that last playoff place. So, you know, they get our respect. They might be low on numbers, but the quality is the key, and they have 12, 13 quality guys.
What's the aim for you tonight? Just get a win of any sort in here?
I think so. First leg, especially on the road, you want to come away and hopefully come away with a lead to take it back to the Sky Dome next week. But we'll see how it goes tonight, Dave.
Ryan, the sick bug's gone through your team, but everybody gets out to the bed for a cup final.
Yeah, we've had it very hard the last 2 weeks. Every day there seems to be at least one guy down with it. Yesterday we had 2 guys out, and guys still puking on the bus. So we're all out tonight to throw everything at the rest at the game tonight, and obviously try and make some of it and get us some silverware back in Basingstoke.
Would it be too much to say that this is your season tonight?
No, I think that's what we've been focusing on, to be honest, the last little while. That, you know, this is definitely our season. We're going for silverware. Obviously, if we were to make the playoffs, I fancy our chances with that kind of team that when our backs are against the walls, we play well, but we've let ourselves down the last couple of weeks, so we're focusing on tonight, and that's our main focus.
How hard has it been for you as a coach, just playing with 10, 11 guys week in, week out?
As a coach, playing has been hard enough, to be honest. That wasn't my plan from the start, but obviously with the injuries and the way the team worked out, I had to come playing again, and it's very tiring. You know, you never get a break, and especially when you're trying to coach as well, you're trying to watch the other teams' plays and stuff like that. It's been really hard, but you know, we've managed to get through the season. That was our plan, to see the season through, and hopefully there'll be a team next year in Basingstoke.
Okay, good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Ones to watch tonight, Dave, and Curtis Cruikshank from the Basingstoke Bison.
Well, if the Bison have got any chance of winning this competition, Nick, he has to have 2 unbelievable games.
Yeah.
And he's a goalie that can have the unbelievable night. The big question mark always about Curtis Cruikshank is, could he play those big games? He went to the Nottingham Panthers after a year in Basingstoke. He couldn't take them to the playoff finals. And then there was always a knock on him. Tonight, he can answer a lot of those critics. I've been one of them. Love him as a guy, love him as a goalie, but can he win you that big game? Tonight, Crooker is the Basingstoke Bison's main, probably only hope.
Okay, the one to watch for the Coventry Blaze was picked by Aaron and Luke Nicholson up in Coventry. They said we got to pick this guy as a one to watch.
Well, you know what?
And always he is the one to watch. He's one of the best.
Well, you know what? They picked a good one, didn't they? Jonathan Weaver, outstanding player. He's the best, probably, defenseman in the country. Not British defenseman, best defenseman. He's had those 13 games off. We've seen him the last 2 games Coventry have played, and he looks like he's been playing all the time. He's outstanding, and he'll be the key. Well, he'll be one of several keys for Coventry tonight.
I wonder if he'll get a couple of goals, eh?
Probably, most probably.
All right, well, Dave, I'm going to give you put you on the spot again. Quick prediction, first leg of the British Knockout Cup.
I hate to say it, Basingstoke. I hate to say it, Ryan. Coventry probably by 3 or 4.
All right, folks, well, we'll see in a minute. The British Knockout Cup, first period of the first leg is coming up after the break. Welcome back to the BMI Baby Elite Ice Hockey League here on Sky Sports. It's the British Knockout Cup final. First leg between the Basingstoke Bison and the league champs, the Coventry Blaze. The players are warmed up. The lights are warming up. We're warmed up. It's finals time.
Well, it's the Basingstoke Bison's biggest night of the year, but this is the Coventry Blaze team that has conquered all so far. Koenig in goal, always a key. Neil Martin, in my opinion, the best defenseman in the league. Jonathan Weaver, Timmins, Peace. It is a stacked defensive lineup to stand in front of Koenig. The forwards, well, they've relied so much. We could just replay the tape on 25 Adam Calder. But watch out for the hard worker Dan Carlson. And in this rink, you need a bit of grit. 39, Danny Stewart could be a man to get things going tonight.
Carlson between Calder and Watkins, with Martin and Timmins on the point, and Trevor Koenig in goal.
The Basingstoke Bison, well, we could really fit all their names on one screen. The poor Bison have been struck by injury and bad ownership at the start of the year, and that means they've only got 10 players. Curtis Cruikshank, we said at the top, was going to be the big key. Parokkinen on defence, so's David Dickadale. He had a spell, of course, with the Coventry Blaze at the start of the year. Who's going to get the goals? Greg Owen. You know what? Greg Owen's been an ever-present in this Basingstoke Bison lineup. No Steve Thornton tonight, though. He's still out with that broken hand. That was after punching Dan Carlson. He's missed 13 weeks, Nick.
Yeah, it's really dented the Basingstoke Bison, and here is their starting lineup. Owen between Cruikshank and Chambers, with Pyrotakinen and Petro on the points, with Curtis Cruikshank, our ones to watch, one of our ones to watch, in goal.
Well, the two netminders, Nick, we've said it all along, 91.2% saves percentage against Curtis Cruikshank. I just feel he's going to have to be the man tonight. He's going to be the daddy for the Bison. Has to be.
And we've talked about this guy all year, Dave. Trevor Koenig, a 2.2 goals against average with a 93.1 save percentage. You know, he's been outstanding all year, and the big backstopper for the league champs.
And you know what? I think Coventry coach Paul Thompson would take 2 goals against tonight in here in the Hive. Absolutely buzzing, by the way, in this building. Fair play to the Basingstoke fans who've come out to cheer on the Bison. They've certainly created an atmosphere in this building, and it's a little warmer than it was the last time we came, Nick. Nigel Boniface, the man in charge. It's Cruikshank versus Koenig. It's Aldridge versus Thompson. It's the Blaze versus the Basingstoke Bison. The biggest game of the year for the Bison, and they get early puck possession. Joining us for the first time, they're in the white uniform with red and black sleeves. Coventry in blue as Chambers headmans the puck. Cruikshank, Owens in front and scores! 20 seconds! What a start for the Basingstoke Bison! The hangover continues for the Coventry Blaze. The Basingstoke Bison with their big line of Cruikshank, Chambers, and that man Greg Owen. It's 1-0 to the Bison.
Look at how Basingstoke hit the nice little one-touch pass, but a misfire there, and Chambers comes across. Now look at Owen driving to the net. He gets the one-timer and gets it up over Koenig.
Agoraphobia, Greg Owen. Somebody surely has to have Owen in front. They don't have.
What was Neil Martin doing, taking the guy? He had Casey Timmins taking him too. 2 guys went to 1 guy, left Owen all alone out front, and that was a defensive breakdown by the Coventry Blaze.
Well, Greg Owen has had a great season, and it continues. I have the Blaze still to win this, but the Bison, if they can get off to a big start here, can carry some momentum. Always tough in this building, especially first period. Coventry with Huppy goes rink wide, picked up just below our commentary position, and Weaver hammers into the corner. Cowley will get there first and continues with the rim. Petro just moves it off and gets a big hit from Cloutier, the captain of the Blaze. But here come the Bison again, down the left-hand side with Owen on his off wing, cuts to the middle, then holds, and the defenseman Weaver, his GB colleague, just tries to force Owen into the corner. Support comes in the way of Derek Campbell. God, it's loud in this building. The Bison fans just absolutely cheering on their team. You can hardly hear the whistle of the linesman for offside there.
And we're right up on top of it. But yeah, Dave, great start by the Basingstoke Bison, taking advantage of a couple of breakdowns by the Coventry Blaze, one in the neutral zone. Then Neil Martin and Casey Timmins both going to the same guy, both going to Chambers. They took advantage of it. We know they can score goals.
Loudmouth announcers, don't you just hate them?
Just you.
Just me.
No, I love you, Ben.
Casey Timmins, what a year he's had. Started off with the Manchester Phoenix. He must have just been in bits when Tony Hand told him he wasn't wanted by the Manchester Phoenix. 25 minutes later, he gets a call from Paul Thompson and ends up a league champion. Here is Timmins. And Coventry at the moment do just look a little out of sorts. Neil Martin's gone down. Big style off a hit there from Campbell. And Martin has gone down in a big way. Paul Thompson and Luke Chabot shake their head on the bench. But Martin is down. And Neil Martin's not a man who normally stays down, Nick.
You can see Martin trying to hug up against the boards there as Campbell comes in and hits him.
Left knee against the board.
The way he's holding that, his right arm, guys. Or the knives. It's the knee, and
you know, Casey Timmins has just gone to hold his right arm, and Martin winched, so it may well be that.
You know, yeah, and the way he skates, you know, whenever you see a guy holding his arm up against his groin like that, he's trying to support his shoulder. Now, I think he's coming off the ice right now, and he doesn't want to let anyone know how much he's in pain, because they got to think about the playoffs. He's a brave, tough guy, and he's going to the bench, and I don't know if we'll see him again tonight.
Well, the Coventry Blaze will have to reshuffle the pack. Does that mean Tommy Watkins might drop back on defence? We'll wait and see. Here is Watkins actually playing on the left wing as he takes a shot right into Cruikshank's body. Coventry do have some options. They have some utility players already using Casey Timmins as a defenceman. Watkins is a man who, when Jonathan Weaver was out of the lineup, fell back onto defence. Paul Thompson might use him in the same circumstances this time.
Good work by Watkins there, getting the puck, getting the blue line, coming in on the off wing and pumping one in on Curtis Cruikshank for their first shot of the game. Coventry Blaze have got to shake off that goal. They've got to shake off the injury and get some shots in on Cruikshank.
Coventry run, of course, 5 defensemen with James Pease as the 5th one. A long outlet pass there was almost found Stewart. Here is Owen, 3-on-2 if the Bison play it well. So will Thompson go to 4D as Owen takes a long shot, and Koenig's got it, drops it, but had it under control. Of course, with James Pease playing as the 4th defenseman now, he'll go up onto a regular shift as well, so I'm sure Coventry will be fine. Big shot coming in from Owen. So just over 2 minutes gone in this first period of this first leg. British Knockout Cup final, and here is Casey Timmins, the big fella. Moves the puck forward. Only as far as Calder, and Barry Moore now plays on that big line with Coulson and Calder. Calder will hit the red line and chip in, chip over Curtis Cruikshank. Puck goes into the far corner. Basingstoke have an easy out, 2-on-2 break here. Owen still got the puck, and he still gets a shot away as well. Timmins
and
has a penalty and an interference call, yeah.
You know, and as Owen drives into the net, I don't know if Soderstrom picked up on Owen. You can see Owen there. He goes around both, and there, the top on your screen there, you see Soderstrom, and that number 33, it's not Melanson, is it? We've tried to figure out his number. He wouldn't give it to, or who's wearing number 33, but that was the call anyway. It was Soderstrom on number 33 of Basingstoke, and that was your interference
power
call.
play time for the Basingstoke Bison. Petro picks the puck up, and on this power play, we hope he sees rather more of it than Parokkanen. Probably. We reckon Parokkanen now will win the award for most expensive name on a replica shirt. Here's Stewart. Moves the puck back to Chambers and Cruikshank. A hack and chop in front. Here is Parokkanen. Oh, that looked like he didn't cross the blue line to me, but the linesman was adamant.
Yeah, Pira talking in it, just keeping the puck in. It looked like he kept it in to me.
Yeah, it looked like to me as well.
Yeah, Dave, getting some news from down at the bench. It is Neil Martin's shoulder. You can see this way he was skating off the ice there. He's in, and they say it's not dislocated, so, you know, smack some ice on it. Maybe get in a couple of shifts, see how it is. But you know what? If you're Paul Thompson, you don't risk this guy.
Well, I can see Neil Martin just down at the far end, and Nicky, the Coventry Blaze physio, has been treating him. They've just disappeared into the dressing room again as Basingstoke come forward on the power play with Chambers. Koenig with the stop. Jonathan Weaver clears all the way down to the goal of Cruikshank. 1 minute expired on the first power play of the night for the Basingstoke Bison. Here's the goal scorer, Greg Owen, scored inside 20 seconds. Pulls a nice move inside Stewart. Owen playing with just so much confidence right now. Calm on the puck. Weaver, though, cuts inside, and Weaver will have an out with the help of Barry Moore, and a backhand pass right down the middle. Bit of high risk, but he gets to Stewart. Stewart takes one right off the left-hand shoulder of Curtis Cruikshank, and Crooker didn't know whether he got it or not. Fell kindly for the Bison defence, and Danny Stewart. 2 Danny Stewarts on the ice tonight. Here's Danny Stewart, 79 of the Bison in white, and just coming for the puck now, 39 in blue of the Coventry Blaze, Danny Stewart of the league champions. Braff moves the puck forward to Ryan Aldridge, the player coach of the Basingstoke Bison, and moves the puck inside. John Greg Wood just couldn't connect with it. Called it as well in the corner and has an out and clears past Braff as we enter the final handful of seconds on Basingstoke's first power play, and the Bison now led the Coventry Blaze back to full strength. Soderstrom skates across the ice, and we're back 5-on-5. Wood's pass is intercepted by Calder. Braff collects. David Vickerdale was just slightly out of position there, and Wood again with two mistimed passes. Carlson couldn't find Calder. Moore did. Calder takes a shot, gets deflected, and Braff has an out. Comes right down the middle. Gets a backhand to it. He'll try and get it in deep, but it's intercepted. James Pease moves the puck forward quickly. Curtis Hoppy with his skate kicks it back to Pease, who gives it to Timmins. Came to him a little bit quick. Timmins needs 2 bites at it. Moves the puck down the right-hand side, and Petro picks it up and gives it to Parokkanen. Parokkanen off the boards, finds Greg Wood. Wood has got to get to the red line and get it in deep, and he does. Timmins is going to get to the loose puck first. Bit of a size difference between those two. A big KC Timmins skates out with it. Makes a short pass to Calder. And the leading goal scorer, Adam Calder, finds Dan Carlson. Carlson back to Calder. Calder takes a shot past the glove hand of Cruikshank. Weaver with a long shot, goes through traffic. Gets deflected by Parokkanen. Derek Campbell just tries to move the puck out, can't get it out of the zone. Gets back to Weaver. There's a penalty coming in. Long shot, big chance, and a save then. And in fact, Nigel Boniface had his hand up for a penalty, and then all of a sudden it just went down again as Campbell moves the puck out to Petro. And since that goal, it's been a fairly even start.
It has been. But Basingstoke are dragging Coventry Blaze into the game that they want to play. Coventry Blaze are having a hard time stringing some passes together because Basingstoke, it's scrappy. It's not going to be pretty hockey, and that's exactly what the Basingstoke Bison need to do.
Jonathan Weaver's going to have a lot more ice time with Neil Martin off the ice. He becomes even more important, doesn't he?
It is, and the way he's shooting the puck right now, though, I'm sure he likes the chances. You can see the way, again, Jonathan Weaver, we've seen him do it a few times, the way he can pull the puck down laterally across the goal, moving backwards and let it go and let it rip with such, he's got such a quick shot, and Cruikshank had to be on his toes.
Parokkanen intercepts that pass aimed at Russ Cowley. Cowley was, Huppy was offside, but Cruikshank collects. Here's Brad Cruikshank. Tough, rugged, could have gone to a lot of teams, when Basingstoke were in a bit of trouble, Brad Cruikshank, and he stayed loyal to the Bison. Huppy finishes on a hit on Parokkanen. He doesn't know what day of the week it is as Cowley on a drop pass to Cloutier. Cloutier to Weaver. Weaver's shot was deflected, collected by Huppy. Huppy dropped pass to Cowley. Cowley takes a shot. Cruikshank had got the goal covered. Cloutier in a battle just in front of the goal with Parokkanen. Petro's going into the corner with Cowley, and Petro just got his stick to the loose puck, and Cruikshank just chips out. And offside call. Just talking about the captain there of the Basingstoke Bison, Brad Cruikshank. Could have gone to 3 or 4 teams when the Basingstoke Bison had their troubles at the start of the year, and he stayed loyal. And that's what a team needs, core group of players who stay loyal to the cause.
It does, Dave, and they haven't had a lot to talk about this year, but a few guys sticking by the Basingstoke Bison through their problems, and it's seen them into this final.
I look Cruikshank because he's one of those tough guys that can play, and I think the league's going to lose the tough guys that can't play next year, and that makes players like Brad Cruikshank even more valuable because he's a guy who shows toughness, ruggedness, and also a commitment to the cause. So
and he's playing tonight. We know he's not 100%, but he's out there giving it all for the Stoke.
Aldridge gets it back to Parokkanen, and to Braff, who gives it to Vickerdale. Back to Braff. Derek Campbell. Derek Campbell, another guy who's had a good year. When Basingstoke started the year, Peter Campbell was the guy everybody was looking to for the goals, and of course Peter Campbell jumped ship and went to Belfast, and Derek Campbell has really stepped up to the plate. James Archer battling in the corner as Paul Thompson tries to get his 3rd unit out. Owen on a drop pass. Stewart has lost it, then gets it back to Chambers. It's all scrappy at the moment. Aldridge, can he find anybody? Just tries to keep the cycle going. Aldridge is going to make his way in front of Trevor Koenig as Stewart and Chambers will try and move that puck and cycle it, but out-hustled on the boards. And here's Stewart, 2-on-1. Watkins is a spare man. Here is Watkins. Oh, he just mishandled the puck. It came back then to Braff's skates, and it looked like it was trickling into the empty net, and a quick left hand from Curtis Cruikshank stops that.
Do you know what? Danny Stewart here coming in makes a great pass, but Watkins actually, you know, it looked like he was having a hard time with the one-timer. It looks like he makes a little quick touch first, bam, and he couldn't release it on a one-timer, and that's why Cruikshank got the pad down enough time to make the save. But
then got his glove down as
on the rebound. Yeah, good awareness. But the Coventry Blaze now, Dave, they're starting to stick a few passes together. Positionally, they're starting to get their heads together a little bit, and you can see how they're getting back into this game just by being calm, not panicking. You know, they're not the league champions for no reason, and they're just getting things a little bit more in order.
Always an interesting time, isn't it? After you've won a championship, you do celebrate, and you do come up that high because emotionally you go so hard for so long, you reach a goal, and then you've got another big game just 3 days after winning the trophy.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about this league and the great thing about silverware, Dave. And Paul Thompson knows, you know, guys, we can't take our foot off the gas, and right now we're 1 goal down, but we can't panic. We're not the league champions for no reason, and again, it's those little things. Huppy with that big hit a couple of shifts ago, and you can see the Coventry Blaze getting a little bit more confidence back.
I'll tell you a good story about the Coventry Blaze in a minute. The day after they won the league championship, here's Carlson to Calder, fires one, scores! Went through Cruikshank, looked like Cruikshank had got it, but Adam Calder scores yet again. 48th goal of the year for Adam Calder. They just keep on coming, don't they? Dan Carlson, the man again who feeds Calder the puck. I thought Cruikshank had got it, then we just see the back of the net bulge. It's tied at 1, folks.
You can see Carlson knows his man, knows his wingman's there, he lets it go, and you can see the jersey bobble of Cruikshank, and then it just slides underneath his glove pad and into the net, boom. Into that 1-1, and like I say, you know, the Coventry Blaze know how to win games. They know when they're 1-0 down, they don't panic. A few passes together, go to their number 1 guy. He was shooting the puck earlier on as well. It just takes some time to find their radar after the hangover and get your, you know, you celebrate it a little bit.
You have to.
But like you say, 3 days later, and they're playing in a big game, and they did come out of the gate slow, but now they're right back in it.
Hey, Nick, there's no point in working for it if you're not allowed to celebrate it when you get it. Whistle blows, and you know what? The Coventry Blaze, there's going to be a penalty. It's a slashing call coming in. But the Coventry Blaze, less than 24 hours after celebrating that championship, were all at a funeral of their trainer, John Crook. And if you can see on the Coventry Blaze uniform tonight, they've all got the initials JC on their helmets. And every single one of the players were at John Crook's funeral just on Monday. We wish his family, of course, we pass on our deepest sympathies. John Crook, one of the real characters of the game around the circuit. And Casey Timmins sits in the penalty box to think about his actions. He's been a naughty lad. And the Basingstoke Bison go on to the power play. Second power play of the night for the Basingstoke Bison. They've actually got the 4th best power play in the league, which for a 9th place club is a surprise. They've scored pretty much on 1 in 5 power plays, 19% this year. And on the penalty kill, here comes Sylvain Cloutier. I thought Cowley was offside then as the long shot comes from Weaver. Aldridge intercepts. Cowley comes across. Aldridge works hard, battles and takes Cowley down. Matthias Soderstrom has the outlet pass to Danny Stewart of the Blaze. Here comes Cruikshank with speed, hammers into the corner. But the right wingers had gone for a change, and Owen couldn't get across to the puck. First minute expired of Basingstoke's second power play. Take the opportunity of a couple of guys changing. Chambers has come out. Puck chipped into the corner. Danny Stewart fakes on his forehand, comes out on the backhand side, and he's going to have an easy out off the boards and gets it out and gets it deep as well.
Yeah, Dave, you know, you talk about the Basingstoke Bison and how they came out of the gate fast here, and they've got the 4th best power play in the league, and they always, every time we've seen them play here, they've always been good to watch, nice and offensive and going for the win.
Just 38 goals conceded as Carlson comes short-handed. Still Carlson scores short-handed. Danny Carlson. Breakaway. I thought Petro had got enough of him, but Carlson was allowed to get the first shot. I think he might have taken 2 attempts. But again, we see the Coventry Blaze score short-handed. Three times in 3 games we've seen him score short-handed, Nick.
Right here, that clearance takes a deflection, and that goes to Carlson, who comes in, takes one hack at it. And really, if you're Petto here, he's come off of Carlson, and really what you got to do is you make the contact here. Now get in front of him and drive him into the corner. You just let him back into it and have another crack at it.
Well, that was poor defensive play by Petro. Because Dan Carlson, as gutsy as he is, he's only a small guy. Petro's twice his size. Just get in front of him.
Off of it. And like you say, you got to angle the guy into the corner off of that.
And you know what? There are times where you have to take a penalty. If you're that upset about it, just pull him down. Haul him to the ground. It's a cup final, for heaven's sake, Petro. Here's big Eric Braff. 2-1, the Blaze lead. 7th short-handed goal of the season for the Coventry Blaze. Puck rebounds over the plexiglass. So Greg Wood against Dan Carlson, and Carlson moves the puck back to Weaver. Weaver does good work to the goal scorer Adam Calder. Weaver puts the brakes on, fakes, goes to his backhand side, throws one across the crease at Cruikshank. Calder collects, gets the cycle going. Carlson pulls a move on young Greg Wood. Carlson's got more in front of him. He finds Barrymore more with a shot, but Cruikshank had come out and covered all of the angles. Wood's going to have an out if he can get it as far as Williams, and Williams just clears through into the neutral zone. Basingstoke throwing some of their youngsters out there. Williams, Watt and Wood at the moment. And if Basingstoke are going to be successful here tonight, there's another shot from the outside comes in, and Cruikshank just keeps it. But if Basingstoke are going to be successful, you can't play 10 players against the Coventry Blaze. Well, you've got to run a whole bench.
Dave, you know what? That's again, I was just going to say, the Basingstoke Bison, they have entertained us. They are a good team, but their problem this year has been bodies. I think, you can't deny it. They just haven't had the bodies to compete with the teams that can come out with 3 lines against you all the time.
Yeah. Ryan Aldridge, of course, was allowed to sign a quality team in the summer by an owner that then didn't deliver once the season had started, and he put Aldridge and Basingstoke in all kinds of trouble. And in fairness, credit to everybody at the organisation for getting through the season. And
Ryan Aldridge out there as well, he's playing on the wing right now, and he'll be the first one to say that he didn't want to play this year, but his work ethic is 100%.
Well, you know what, he leads by example out there, doesn't he? And I don't think you'll criticise us for saying he's not the most gifted and talented player on the ice, but he's got a heart as big as a bucket. And every time we've seen him play, Nick, effort level has been outstanding. Here's Cloutier, back to Cowley. Oh, and Cowley tried to find Huppy. Huppy wasn't too impressed with Derek Campbell, who came in a little late and a little high, as the big shot comes from Danny Stewart. Rebounds off the backboards, and Koenig covers up.
I think everyone was chuckling there. Referee Nigel Boniface coming through the neutral zone and tripping over the red line. There's a little smile on his face, and he brushes the snow from his pants. But it's always fun when an official falls, as long as they don't get hurt. But the funny thing is, he was turning around looking, and maybe there was something on the ice. Shot coming in, and Koenig, with his blocker, he takes that one rebound, but he probably wants to pump that into the corner, a little bit too sharp off the backboard, but still good awareness to get the rebound off the board.
Five-on-five play. There comes Stewart. Chips off the boards, goes to get it himself. Vickerdale in the corner with Stewart. Vickerdale tries to finish. Watkins comes in for some support. Still Stewart. Holds and protects the puck well. Timmins just jumps into the play and then fires one. It must have been a high shot, because even Braff ducked, and he's about 8'3". Here's David Vickerdale. Vickerdale takes a shot. Pad save by Koenig. Calmness personified by Weaver. Most of us would have just hacked and chopped and thrown that puck out. Nigel Boniface misses a hook on... Well,
I don't think he missed it. I think,
you can't just see it and not call it.
He did. I mean, he's nodding his head back and forth like it wasn't. But
Adam Calder.
It could just be the style of game that he wants to call, Dave.
Well, it's end-to-end at the moment. Here's Petro, fakes forehand, goes backhand. I saw Calder just coming in there and thought Parakkinen was going to get run from the side. Barrymore. Bangs one off the glass, Calder collects. Carlson's waiting and Barrymore ends up in the goal. I think with a little help from Petro.
Yeah, more looking at the ref saying, come on, what's got to happen to call a penalty against the Basingstoke Bison? He's driving to the goal, ends up in it, but.
There's Nigel Boniface, and this is the penalty that we thought was, and he thought wasn't.
Let's have a look back at that hooking call. There's the little hook there. Just gets his Cruikshank one hand on the, and by the letter of the law, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
But Nigel Boniface obviously wanting to let play flow a little bit.
Hey, some of the penalties we've commentated on in the last couple of weeks, Nick, that was almost an assault as Calder just hammers one into Cruikshank. Stewart forces Dan Carlson into the body of Curtis Cruikshank.
And now we've got a roughing call coming up against the Basingstoke Bison.
And I think that was, is that Stewart roughing on Carlson, throwing him into Curtis Cruikshank? So second power play of the night for the Coventry Blaze.
Getting a roughing call, and let's have a look at it. There's Campbell on Carlson, and there's he directed him into his own goalie, but the glove was a little high around the head.
This is the 338th time the Coventry Blaze have been on a power play. You give them that many opportunities, no wonder they score so many goals. They've had enough time to practice it. Here's Cloutier.
I think maybe Nigel Boniface making amends.
You know what, I thought that as well. I missed the first one, so I'll call the second one. Here's Colson again, takes a shot. Cruikshank just got in the way of it. Basingstoke with Owen has an easy out. 22.6% coming in on the power play for the Coventry Blaze, and Nick, we've said all year their power play so outstanding. Just explain why. Is it just their puck movement?
It's because of the systems that they execute. They're so smart, Dave, that they do what they're told. They execute their systems, and they're great movers of the puck. The way they snap the puck back and forth. And when you guys got guys like Calder and Huppy out there.
Here's Weaver with an absolute bullet. There's a loose puck out in front.
And how can you not score?
Yeah. They have a little bit of everything on that line as well, don't they? Huppy with the big shot, Weaver with the quick hands. Here's Adam Calder, who does a little bit of everything. Stands up inside of Braff and gets hit for his pleasure. Young Greg Wood battling down low as Braff clears to David Vickerdale. And David Vickerdale, who was last year with the Manchester Phoenix, follows all the way down the ice. Soderstrom collects as he comes on a line change.
Just that quick, even that save off of Koenig, smart. You telling me he didn't try and play that up to the boards? He knows what he's doing.
Stewart takes a shot, just saved by Cruikshank. Stewart was allowed to just walk straight in. He's playing with so much confidence, Trevor Koenig, right now, though, Nick, yeah? Total confidence.
You got to say, he knew where that rebound was going.
One-timer maybe for Stewart. Now comes back to Weaver. Here's Weaver, hammers one. Great glove save by Curtis Cruikshank. We were standing right in line with that. That was going top shelf, no question. And at the last millisecond, up came the glove from Cruikshank.
Look at Jonathan Weaver's shot. Jonathan Weaver is so smart because he knows where to put the puck. Now, 70-odd% of goals, Dave, are scored in the lower foot of the goal. Forget the glory of the big corners, but it's scored in the lower foot. And his shots, very rarely up over a foot high. That one maybe a little bit too high right into Cruikshank's glove, but still, he's got a great shot.
Into the final 2 minutes of this first period. And the power play is now over for the Coventry Blaze. So Basingstoke will gain some momentum and some energy from that. Just over 90 seconds remain then. And this first period that started so well for Basingstoke with Greg Owen's goal. But the 1-2 punch, Calder Carlson have done it again, and it's the Blaze that lead by 2-1. How valuable are those two lads right now? Here's that man again, Dan Carlson on his backhand, gets out to Barrymore and Moore, shovels a backhand just past Cruikshank's goal. Then goes into the corner and gets it. Back to Soderstrom. Oh, he took a deflection as well. I think he came off the skate of Dan Carlson. Carlson again. Oh, he fakes the move. Carlson bursts into the middle. Carlson one-on-one. Plays a gorgeous move round the back. Dan Carlson outstanding. But now here come the Basingstoke Bison themselves with Petro. Petro, who takes a late hit from Soderstrom as he chips it into the corner. Basingstoke take the opportunity of a change. Their last chance in this first period. And here comes Matthias Soderstrom, man in the middle. He's Cloutier. Cloutier couldn't control the puck though, goes all the way down, and icing will be called. What a gorgeous move, Dan Carlson.
By Carlson. He comes in, dipsy doodles, doesn't have the shot, so he tries to slide it back in front. No one's there for the empty netter, but can have a look at just a great little move, and then that little dipsy doodle around Chambers, and then he just tries to feed it out front, doesn't have anybody there.
I think he was trying to just bang it, stack it off the pads.
I don't know.
I think he was trying to stack it off the pads. I arrived in the car park today. Dan Carlson was warming up playing football, and he just looked at me and he says, "Aren't you fed up of following us around?" You never get fed up of looking at skill like that.
Fan, aren't you?
You never get fed up of looking at skill like that. Not an out by Huppy, and that gave Vickerdale a chance. With the seconds clicking off the clock with Stewart, who's got Braff. Braff steps out inside. Soderstrom's lost his stick. Stewart will take a long shot from the outside and ties the cup final at 2 goals each. Huppy had the first chance to get it out. He didn't. Soderstrom lost his stick. And with just 4 seconds remain, Stewart has just hammered one past Trevor Koenig. We're tied at 2 in the cup final.
Love it, love it. Now the key here is that Soderstrom's lost his stick. They get tangled up on the front. Now look at Stewart's all alone. He can make that shot away, take it untouched. And he goes to the short side and high over Koenig. Great goal, great period of hockey by both teams. 2-2, and Dave, this is what finals are all about.
It is indeed. Paul Thompson will be fuming because his team had not 1 but 2 chances to clear that puck in the 2 chances to clear that puck just before the game. Well, what a first period in a cup final. Basingstoke up and down. Greg Owen for 1-0, but then Coulson and Calder with a 1-2 punch for 2-1 Coventry, and that goal by Stewart has just tied it up at 2-2. There's going to be lots more to come back for in the second period. Don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. The British Knockout Cup final, first leg, here in Basingstoke. There's referee Nigel Boniface, just been inspecting the ice, Nick.
He was just hooking it where he fell over. I think he was saying that he caught a little bit of a groove.
Hey, in between the... There's Curtis Cruikshank, but I'll just quickly tell you a quick story about the referee Nigel Boniface. In between the periods, and you can see Cruikshank placed 5 more shots than Trevor Koenig.
Yeah.
I bumped into Nigel Boniface, and he quickly said to me, he says, "You didn't catch me falling over, did you?" I said, "The cameras didn't, but Slick Nick did."
Yeah, that's where he's pointing to, eh? And everyone's having a little laugh and a joke. He's pointing down to where he tripped over, but...
2-2 were tied in this first leg of the British Knockout Cup final. Stoke Bison season right here. They're a team that probably are not going to make the playoffs. Edinburgh have caught them up and now have surpassed them. And that just makes this more important.
I'll tell you what, I've seen them a handful of times here, and I like the way they come out. They give it 100%, and folks, you guarantee that if they had 2 or 3 guys in their lineup healthy all year round, they'd be better off than where they are now.
Very much a different team at home than on the road, especially with the short bench. You know what, I was looking down their list of players as well, Nick, and we've been talking about our all-star lineups for God knows how long, and I saw 33, Dean Mellinson, and just seeing his name frightened me on a piece of paper, because how good was he at the start of the year?
Yeah, he was good. You liked him, didn't you? Eh?
Oh.
I wonder if we would have seen him in Sheffield next year.
I think we might have done. And Rotherham 3 years later. So underway, second session. Dan Carlson, one of the 2 goal scorers for the Coventry Blaze. Have a guess who the other one was. You've got it, Adam Calder. It's not really a hard question that anymore, is it? Timmins hits the red line and chips in. Petro gets it out past Chambers. Picked up by Pease, or go east to west and find Timmins. Timmins just moves the puck further forward, just down below us, and big Brad Cruikshank just manages to get the puck out of his feet to Owen on a one-time pass now, and Chambers takes the opportunity of a change, just knocks the puck gently past Trevor Koenig's goal. Pease comes with speed and finds a nice little outlet pass to Dan Carlson. Carlson shovels a backhand into the opposite corner. Vickerdale gets there first. Huppy kind of gets a hit to it, and a bit of a transition turnover. And here's Stewart, cuts to the middle and takes the shot. Good play by James Pease. Just knocks Danny Stewart off his feet, right off his feet. Forgot the puck, looked straight in the chest and took his man down, Nick. And here's another chance for Stewart. Man out in front was Campbell. Cowley had the Campbell stick, I think, just out of reach. Aldridge will finish a hit on Huppy. So does Campbell. Here's Cloutier. Line change for the Blaze as Cowley collects and takes a shot. Hits the back leg of Braff, and Braff just gets that long stick to it.
This is more like it, eh?
End-to-end stuff. Long shot from the outside goes into the glove of Trevor Koenig, and we've seen chances either end, and we're seeing a little bit of a hack and shot with Aldridge and Huppy.
First period, dritters out of the way. The Basingstoke Bison. Stewart with a good eye-hand coordination, knocking that puck down and then trying to find Campbell. And then the other way, here we can have a look at it. Right into Koenig's hand, but earlier on you saw Cloutier coming in on the Basingstoke Bison end, and the little eye contact that they've got going back and forth with their lines, their lines mate, Dave, and that's when you know teams are really, really gelling, when they're looking at each other eye to eye, where they want each other to go, directing them.
Well, the crowd here at Basingstoke making a huge noise. Certainly warmed this building up. It's that warm. I've taken my coat off, Nick. We complained it was cold last time we came here.
Well, you just put your coat on so you can walk around the rink and show people it, don't you?
That as well. The wife's fed up of me wearing it in bed, though. Braff forces into the corner. A bit of a melee there. Watkins does a good job and comes out with it. Vickerdale's going to finish on Watkins. Watkins hacks and chops, though, and does good work, but Vickerdale gets it out. Chambers' pass is intercepted by young Archer. Chambers then moves the puck forward. Archer finishes on a hit. Still with a chance for Owen, who fires one. It's rebounded. It was just lying in the crease for a while, but eventually Coventry clear all the way down, where Parokkanen will touch the puck. Icing actually waved off. Barrymore has got Calder just in front, and Calder's shot is just wide. Calder had got, I think it was Petro all over the back of him there.
Shot away, though. You know what I mean? He still gets the shot away.
Barrymore and a backhand to Calder, who's got Colson one way, and he goes for Colson every time. Colson goes for Calder every time, who just drills one right into the glove of Cruikshank. Cruikshank looks at his defenseman and wonders how again Calder got the shot away.
Ryan Aldridge, look at he tries to get under the stick of Calder there, and it actually keeps the puck bobbling and goes in on Cruikshank as a knuckleball, kind of end over end. Cruikshank had to be wary of that.
James Pease bangs one off the glass. Parokkanen gets there first. Still bouncing around. Colson has a chance out in front. 3 backhand passes by Barrymore in the last 15-20 seconds. All found their intended targets, and Carlson there had a gilt-edged chance. Comes back the other end, and Adam Calder is going to be making his way into the penalty box.
Yeah,
he forced his way back, and that's, you know, Adam Calder to a T. Not only in his offensive zone, but he's the first man back doing his defensive duties. He'll be a tad disappointed, but he's taken a penalty there.
Yeah, because he gets a little bit physical. He gets called for 2 minutes for interference. You can see on the far side, well, he's out of the shot, but that there they go into the goal, and that is Calder on the interference. You'll see it just on the far side at the top of your screen. There's your interference call. Calder getting right in the face of the Basingstoke Bison, driving to the net, and that's an easy call to make.
Last time the Basingstoke Bison were on the power play, Dan Carlson, of course, scored short-handed. This will be the 236th time this season that Basingstoke have had the one-man advantage. Scored 42 goals, 18% on the power play.
Now the net has been moved off of its mooring. You can see how precise Trevor Koenig is. Look at him with his stick. He's laying it down. What he's trying to do is he's just trying to make sure that that goal is central in the goal crease. These goalies, they obviously don't want to look down at their feet and see where their feet are. So they use their peripheral vision around the top of the blue paint so they know exactly where the goal is behind them. There's Petto diving to the net. Calder interference, drives him into the net, but now that the goal is right where Koenig wants it, and back on the power play.
Petro with a one-timer aimed right at the head of Koenig. Quick left-hand glove by Trevor Koenig as Petro wound that one up.
Again, Dave, you know, like it's these little kind of, well, they are little knuckleballs. They come in, he doesn't get everything he wants on it, so it just kind of flips a little bit, goes in a bit wobbly. And it doesn't come in as fast as goalies are normally used to them, so it can put their vision off, but a good save by Koenig.
Coventry clear all the way down the ice, where Cruikshank will collect. Him and Prokopinen make a bit of a pig's ear of it. Here's Campbell, and Russ Cowley has the option, and he had just got his stick to it. And the Blaze kill well. Coventry got the second best penalty kill in the league, 86%. As Weaver comes forward short-handed, puts the brakes on, looks for some options, cuts to the middle, gets a slash from Stewart to his for his trouble, and that causes a turnover. Stewart just rips one. That was where he scored from, pretty much the same position in the first period. The only difference was there was traffic in front of Koenig with a handful of seconds left in the first period. Wasn't any there.
Shot coming in from Stewart on his strong side for the giveaway from Weaver. You saw him get a hack at the top of the just inside the blue line, and Basingstoke turn it back and get the shot on goal, and they got a face-off down low.
The read on that Danny Stewart, opposed to the Coventry one, the Bison Danny Stewart, when he first arrived here, was he was a bit of a third-line grinder. But you know what? As he's got more ice time with the departures, here's a chance for Owen. Went forehand, backhand, and Soderstrom just moved him out of the way. But Danny Stewart of the Basingstoke Bison, I think, has actually turned himself into one hell of a good hockey player who can quite easily play up on one of the first two lines. Are we going to have a delay in the game? Penalty here against Basingstoke. Against Trevor Koenig.
Against Trevor Koenig.
Against Koenig, yeah.
The way that Koenig was looking at Koenig, but Koenig's he's still even pointing to his goal, and he's saying, come on, guys, it's just obviously dislodging too easy. But Owen with an absolutely amazing, you know what?
Pushed it.
Nigel Boniface was right on it. You can see, once you get up, there you go, pushes it off. Right in front of Nigel Boniface. Trevor Koenig's got absolutely no argument about that, even though the goal dislodged quite easy.
You know what? In the last 5 games, Trevor Koenig's been done 3 times for delaying the game. And Barry Moore's going to come and serve that penalty. Here's a little bit of a momentum changer. 63 seconds as Barry Moore sits that one out. 63 seconds, 5-on-3 power play. If the Basingstoke Bison are going to win this British Knockout Cup, or even win this first leg, they've got to take advantage of their power play opportunities. And here is a huge one. Prokopinen is waiting for it, gets it back to Petro, sags down low to Chambers. Cruikshank and Owen wait in the middle. Here is Prokopinen. Perhaps should have shot it, got it back to Petro. Don't overplay it. Here's Prokopinen again. Cruikshank sags low again. Here's Chambers. Back to Prokopinen. Petro takes a shot right down the belly, and for the first time in that whole power play, no traffic in front of Koenig.
You know what, Dave? Yeah, but also Petronakinen not guilty there. I know you think maybe he should have shot, but you can't push things. You can't waste your shots, and maybe that shot Petro could have held on to it, waited for traffic in front, but they wanted to get the Coventry Blaze moving back and forth so they can get those one-timers, but they can't force it.
Only 15 seconds left on the one-man advantage, and Koenig's going to have an out. Doesn't get it all the way out, though, only gets it as far as Owen. Owen to Chambers, and Owen tries to get it back from Chambers, but Russ Cowley will break down the left-hand side as the Coventry Blaze come back now to full strength as they chip past Cruikshank. Coventry go for a change. Barry Moore skates straight to the bench. Stewart just cuts to the middle. Forces on the right-hand side. Still has the puck. Pease comes across and finishes. Young Watt, and only probably his 3rd or 4th shift of the night, comes in for some help, but James Pease clears and makes a nice pass out to Tommy Watkins. And if you like, the 3rd unit's out right now. Here's Cook, a guy who experienced playoff success last year with the Nottingham Panthers. Tommy Watkins and Danny Stewart jump into a hole. Stewart gets a stick around him from Prokopinen. Still with Stewart, tenacious, and Prokopinen eventually takes him down. Watkins comes in, Wood and Watkins battling, and Prokopinen's going to have an out. Stewart takes him down. I look across to Nigel Boniface, no penalty call.
It's just what you want your third line to do. Keep the puck to the outside, down low, and keep it in your opponent's end.
Cook
so that your number 1 and 2 lines can get a rest.
Cook chips in, Watkins goes to get it. And you know what, when you've got Watkins and Danny Stewart on a third line, that ain't a bad third line, is it? And Braff has to muscle and force a puck out on his backhand side. Young Williams can't get to it. And he'll make his way for a change, and the third unit's change, and the big guns come out. Certainly as far as Coventry, Dan Carlson, Adam Calder and Barry Moore. Bison, because they're defending in the second period, can't quite get a complete line change. Here's Cruikshank. Goes on his forehand, forces a backhand out, and Wood couldn't just quite make contact. Petro had also jumped into play. Petro and Calder have clashed. There's a penalty coming in as Barrymore takes a shot. Basingstoke touch the puck, and there's a penalty coming the way of the Basingstoke Bison, and it's going to go against Petro.
Folks, this is number 1. If kids at home, if you want to see how to draw a penalty, which means how to make a guy pull you down or interfere against you, you watch Calder here. Look at him on the near side here. Just drive. Actually, you know, they come together 50-50, but keeps the legs going, and Nigel Boniface sees it up from the far side. It's actually Calder who's interfering. But that's how you draw a penalty, folks. Keep the legs moving and make a guy look like he's interfered with you.
So that's experience, eh? Experience to a T. And now the power play into operation yet again. Weaver, who's such a key on the power play. Adam Calder. Not just a goal scorer, Adam Calder. We've said it so many times.
So the absolute work ethic out of the guy.
Totally.
Unbelievable.
Jonathan Weaver moves the puck. Gets it to Curtis Huppy. Cloutier sags in and is there for moral support and gets the help and gets it on its way to Carlson. Dan Carlson gets his forehand out to Calder, to Weaver. Calder's made some room. He's creeping in at the back door. He's got the one-timer ready if it comes to him, but he's going to go to Cloutier instead. Cloutier gets it to Weaver. Weaver gets the shot. It was a weak one, and he just trickled through the crease, collected by Curtis Huppy. 65 seconds on the power play. Weaver again. Intercepted this time. Does he hit the lights? No, he just tricks into the corner, and it's an easy out for Owen. Short-handed Chambers burst down the right-hand side, but Koenig just got there first. Chambers goes for a line change. Aldridge comes onto the ice. Weaver hits the red, hits the blue, and chips round. David Vickerdale. Backhand, doesn't get it out. Poor play by Vickerdale, and Aldridge bailed his defenseman out of a bit of trouble there by forcing Weaver. Russ Cowley has got Dan Carlson just in front. Carlson tries to bat a backhand out of the air. Still with the blaze. Long shot comes in from Barry Moore. Russ Cowley with 25 seconds on the power play. Still Coventry, another chance for Cowley. Shoots one right in the chest of Cruikshank, and eventually the Bison clear. Only as far as Barry Moore. Adam Calder makes a move to Carlson. Man 3 is Cowley. Cowley goes to his backhand. And Ryan Aldridge and Derek Campbell sag low. 5 seconds left on the power play. Barry Moore again. Russ Cowley probably had the best chance of that power play, Nick, and ended up shooting it straight in the chest of Cruikshank. Full strength Coventry and Basingstoke. 5-on-5. Pease with a hammer. They've been waiting 600 games for him to score. It almost came true then. All back 5-on-5 as we go into the second half of this middle period. Still tied 2-2. Cook committed the body. Campbell ran him over. Pease mishandles. Chance for Aldridge. Now Stewart shoots and scores! The Bison take the lead. I thought Aldridge had overplayed it with the backhand pass. I thought he should have shot it himself. He knows more than I, though, and he fed Stewart, and Stewart feeds one past Trevor Koenig. I think James Pease will be a bit upset that he never cleared the puck earlier, though.
Well, there's a hit by Cook, and then here's an opportunity for the Coventry Blaze to get rid of it. Pease with an absolute gift for the Basingstoke Bison. And again, you cannot mess around with the puck in your own zone. Stewart making absolutely no mistake. Here's Pease with it. Mishandles the puck. Ryan Aldridge with a smart play by Aldridge. See, Aldridge is tight in close on Koenig, so he makes a great pass to give Stewart a little bit better of an angle. And Stewart made it count. And the Basingstoke Bison have a 1-goal lead.
Well, there's the two guys who made that goal. Aldridge and Stewart smiling with each other. They should be happy. They put Basingstoke 3-2 ahead.
Real heads-up play by Ryan Aldridge.
Can you just feel the atmosphere here in Basingstoke? Cup final night for the Bison fans. They never be expected to be in a cup final as Hoppy hammers one. It's taken a ricochet off Cruikshank. Young Archer just tries to turn on a sixpence. Cowley again. Basingstoke fans certainly seizing the moment here against the Coventry Blaze. They're 3-2 up. Two-legged final, don't forget. Of course, we'll be covering the second leg from the Skydome Arena. Next week, Hoppy tries to clear out, gets it through the neutral zone. But the Basingstoke Bison, who haven't won for such a long time in league play, their roster decimated by injuries, illness, and of course losing a few players in the early months of the year. Here's Calder, has found Carlson, who couldn't quite control. And the Coventry fans to my left, they had the hands up there. Here's a chance for Weaver, who hammers one past. Another opportunity, and Weaver got a bit of a slash from Owen there, and Weaver's gone straight to the bench. So Jonathan Weaver makes his way to the bench. One of the men who's come on is Barry Moore. Weaver wincing on that bench at the moment. I think he just took a slash from Greg Owen. Carlson digging, and young Greg Wood does a good job just tying his man up. And Basingstoke, when in doubt, get it out. And they do get it out. All the way down where he's picked up by Soderstrom. Inside the final 5 minutes, just 1 goal to report, second period, after a 4-goal first session. And it came the way of the Basingstoke Bison. Danny Stewart, second of the night, giving the Bison that 3-2 advantage. And Weaver just wincing still on the bench. And it'll be interesting to... Stewart cuts out into the middle. There is Weaver. He's feeling his shoulder. I don't know what he's feeling his shoulder for. And Basingstoke with another easy out to Stewart. Stewart tries to get the puck forward to Campbell, and he does. He gets it round. Watkins, Campbell forces into the corner, gets there before Soderstrom. And I think try and get a whistle and a break. But no, and out for the Coventry Blaze, and they'll come with speed, and they'll come with Tommy Watkins, who feeds to Danny Stewart. Watkins heads to the net, Stewart on a drop pass, looks for Cloutier. Watkins gets taken down, and it's a long shift here, and Basingstoke are chasing a little bit. Ryan Aldridge just points at his place to just clear the puck, get an icing, give an icing away, get a change. They don't do so, and Stewart makes a long skate to his bench. Chambers comes on, double man change, but here's Weaver. Wasn't hurting that much, was it?
No, I was going to say he's back on the ice.
I just looked down there and saw him. I thought, you're faking it, kid. Here's Weaver again, steps out inside, comes off the skate. Weaver in a back second chance. There's two Jonathan Weavers. Just shows how tough these guys are, doesn't it?
Do you know what, Dave? I don't know if it was a slash or if he just jarred his shoulder when he took the shot, the puck bobbling the way it was, and maybe having to make a quick readjustment. And
Bison fans got excited as Owen just forces Weaver. Here is Weaver, makes a lovely pass to Hoppy, gets to Cowley. Cowley takes a long shot through the crease. Weaver again makes the pass to Carlson. I'd love just to do a pass count on Jonathan Weaver and what percentage of his passes find the intended target. I bet you it's 95% plus. Carlson tries to move the puck forward. Here is Carlson again. Shot it low this time.
And his shots on goal as well.
And when Weaver shoots the puck, they're on goal, aren't they?
He almost always hits the net.
Yeah.
Should we start a Jonathan Weaver fan club or something, or what?
And you know what? I'm just thinking to myself, why isn't he in my all-star team?
Here I have him as a reserve.
Cowley fires one into the glove of Cruikshank. Face-off with Cloutier. In the face-off circle, Calder, who is on my all-star team. Aldridge.
You're a bit predictable, though.
Yeah, I just go for the 5 best guys I can think of. Yeah, it's very predictable. That's what an all-star team is. You picked 3 guys who probably won't get work next year. The Rothwell
I picked you as my all-star.
Here's a chance for more. Cloutier out in front. Will be disappointed he didn't do better, Sylvain Cloutier. A captain's moment, didn't take it. Calder to Soderstrom. Cloutier leaves it out. Soderstrom sunk low, and Parokkinen just hammers around the board, and Aldridge will get to a loose puck with 85 seconds on the clock. Tries to knock the puck forward to Campbell. Pease just stood in his way. Pease is a giant, man. And that's when he does the simple things right, and that's what he did then. Calder hammers into the blocker of Curtis Cruikshank. Good work from Parokkinen. Moves the puck forward. Chambers can't quite control. Goes into the skates of Timmins. Koenig helps it on it. Well, Koenig has an easy forehand out and then feeds the puck to the Basingstoke player, Chambers. Chambers has kept it in. Still with Chambers. Good work from Chambers. Tries to get the puck in front of Koenig where Owen was standing. Still with Bison possession, and now Carlson will come out with it. Carlson has got Watkins one way. It's all Carlson. Great work by Stewart. Super work by Danny Stewart. Still with Carlson. Carlson still got it, steps inside. Forehand, backhand, Watkins takes the shot. Well, you know what? It's great play, both teams. Firstly by Stewart, then by Carlson. Here's the other Danny Stewart. He fires one. Cruikshank's making the saves. And all of a sudden, Nick, those pucks aren't trickling through Curtis Cruikshank that were early doors.
Do you know what? Look at this, Danny Stewart coming back on Carlson. Folks, that's what wins you stuff, that effort. But then, Basingstoke really guilty of just fishing on the checks, not taking the body, and that's what they have to do. Otherwise, you know what? You give Carlson another shot like that, and he's going to put it in the back of the net.
We talked about Adam Calder earlier, didn't we? He works both ends of the rink. We saw him as the first guy back. And Danny Stewart, he scored 2 goals in a cup final tonight. Hey, he's not looking to goal line for the hat-trick. He's getting back, he's fighting, he's doing all those little things right. And let's tip our hat to Danny Stewart there, because he did a fabulous job. Here's Weaver. Puck's bouncing, and with a bit of 6-1, half a dozen there with Cruikshank and Cloutier. Last bite of the cherry this period for the Coventry Blaze. Weaver, he's going to step in and hammer it, and he does. And it took a couple of deflections. Nobody knew where it was. Everybody looked behind them. And this period is going to come to a halt. And it's been just as entertaining as the first period. We had 4 goals in the first session, Nick. Just 1 goal in the second period. Danny Stewart was the man who scored his 2nd goal of the night to put the Basingstoke Bison 3-2 ahead. We've got the 3rd period of this final. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. We've got a cup final on our hands here in Basingstoke. The Bison leading the Coventry Blaze by 3 goals to 2. That man, Trevor Koenig, only faced 11. 23 shots on Cruikshank.
Well, I think that's
who's counting that?
Home team counting.
I know Cruikshank did face more rubber than a dead cat on the M1, but holy smoke, 38 shots in the 2 periods.
Paul Thompson there, Dave, and you have a word to say about him and his tie.
He's got his tie on. He never had his tie on in the first 2 periods. There's superstition for you.
Well, right now, Basingstoke have been scoring a goal every 10 minutes, which means they're doing right about now.
So the announcer gets them going here. The Bison fans, just speaking with some of their staff down here, they sold out against the Cardiff Devils last week. I can never remember the Basingstoke Bison selling out. So congratulations to everybody who's doing such a great job here in Basingstoke. But they're 3-2 up in the first leg final. We'll, of course, have the second leg next week from the Skydome Arena. Who'll lift the trophy, the British Knockout Cup trophy? Coventry still favourites. I had Coventry to win this by 3 or 4, but I have to say hats off. Here's Weaver. Can he tie it? He steps in alone on Cruikshank. Still got it. Empty net for Calder. And he, I don't think he actually got a shot away on it. Long shot comes from the outside. Cruikshank's got it, hasn't got it, has got it. And it trickles past his far post. Early chances for the Coventry Blaze.
Got a piece of that and banged it backwards on his backhand. I think it went off of his own skate, maybe.
As I said, I had Coventry to win by 3 or 4, but hats off to the Basingstoke Bison. They're so short-benched, and every single one of them has just given their all here. They've sucked up the illness, they've sucked up the injuries, and every one of these guys that has donned the uniform, well, they have my utmost respect, Nick.
Well, you know, and Danny Stewart and Greg Owen, particularly for me, standing out, and Ryan Aldridge, the head coach, you know, just leading by example, keeping the legs going, and you know, these games, these finals that go over 2 legs, 6 periods of hockey, Dave, and all you got to do is just knuckle down and think about it like that, and make sure that you leave this building heading up into Coventry with at least a goal in hand, and they'll be happy.
And right now they're at 1 goal up as Cowley forces Vickerdale, and Stewart has an out. And the more Coventry press, the more chance of these breakaways, and they do skate very well, Basingstoke, and they come at you with speed, especially that Stewart. All the way back to Eric Braff. And already a minute and a half has elapsed in this third period. There'll be no overtime tonight if this game is tied at the end of 60 minutes. Which is good news for Nick and I, because we've got to go and get some chicken over the road. We don't want them shut in early. Here's Derek Campbell, takes a long shot, comes off the skate of Soderstrom. Stewart, Campbell gets to a loose puck. Back to Stewart, who's looking for his hat-trick. Throws one at the net, kicked away by Koenig, and now James Pease clears all the way down. Icing will be called the second that Vickerdale touches the puck. There's Steve Thornton, who's been out for 13 weeks. We saw him actually sustain that injury. He punched Dan Carlson on the back of the helmet. Misdiagnosed 3 times.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'd be back. And you know what this guy could do for the Basingstoke Bison? Seen him at many years, and he's so exciting to watch.
You know he's having an operation next week. Do you think he should have just put it off for 2 or 3 weeks and played these last few games, Nick? What do you reckon? Cowley drives them out.
Do you know what? I reckon he would have if he could hold his stick.
Yeah.
But you know, if you can't,
it must be painful for a pro hockey player, mustn't it? For him not to play.
Oh, do you know what? It hurts so much. The soul. The guy's, you know, born and bred to be out there on the ice, not on the sidelines.
Here's Danny Stewart of the Blaze. Vickerdale goes across him. Stewart holds onto the push. Vickerdale tries to finish. Does finish. Watkins rims the puck round. Barry Moore. And Paul Thompson has changed his lines up here. And here's Barry Moore. Barry Moore takes a long shot. So he takes a quick shot and he just rebounds off the chest of Cruikshank. Interesting to see what the other units are. Whistle's going to be blown and there's a penalty on the scene. It's an interference call and it's coming the way of the Basingstoke Bison. Well, Paul Thompson swapping his lines around as Vickerdale. It is Vickerdale who makes his way to the penalty box.
That's the one call that Nigel Boniface really is enjoying tonight, the interference call, and it's, you know, and it's the call that you got to make if you want to watch nice, open, flowing hockey. The interference call's got to be made, and you figure now after 40-odd minutes, the guys will catch on.
You know what, Nigel Boniface, he's caught a lot of interference, but he missed that one trip earlier in the first period when he fell over the red line.
Very good, very good.
Power play time for the Coventry Blaze. And Basingstoke have an easy out. Just watch how hard this Basingstoke Bison team work. And it's just not tonight. They were in Nottingham on Tuesday night. They're playing a couple of games. I think they play 4 games in the next 6 days. And they just don't stop working. Ron Aldridge cuts across. Calder holds onto the puck. He's got Cloutier and Weaver very close to one another. Complete overload on this one side. Puppy's waiting for the puck. It comes to him now from Weaver. Cloutier the other way, but it goes to Weaver. Carlson, will he get it? This comes to Dan Carlson. Carlson, who scored short-handed tonight. Weaver gets it back to Carlson. Carlson steps inside. He's done this a couple of times tonight. Goes to his backhand. Calder was right in front. Good work, Petro. Somehow Petro prevented Calder from shooting. Calder gets another shot, and then Petro makes the play to Campbell. Campbell short-handed. Campbell versus Koenig. Pulls a move and scores! A short-handed goal for Derek Campbell.
Unbelievable.
Delayed penalty as well. But 4-2 to the Basingstoke Bison. Didn't he do well, Derek Campbell?
You got to wonder if that would have been a penalty shot, if the save would have been made. You can see Jonathan Weaver. Campbell with a good burst of speed to get Weaver. And there's the hook. There's the other hook. The puck ball was up and goes in off Campbell's leg.
Fair play to Campbell. He skates away from Weaver. That's a job in itself.
Easy to do. No, but he had to jump on Weaver, and then he makes the move, and puck ball was in. Koenig getting a piece of it, but it got going up and over. The question would have been, would that have been a penalty shot? That would have been interesting, but I'm sure the Basingstoke Bison are happy with that.
Don't like to be critical, but a little hook and a little tug there from Jonathan Weaver. 3-2 down in a cup final. Should he just have hacked and whacked him?
Well, you know, Dave, I think the thing is that Campbell was pulling away from him, and I think that was the only way that he could actually make an effective play, because if he would have tried to hack and whack, Campbell's so solid on his skates.
Chambers short-handed. Comes all the way. Oh, tried to find Owen on the far blue line. We've got a cup final on our hands now. 4-2, the Bison lead. Danny Stewart. Still Danny Stewart. Gritty and grindy, and gets taken out, and there's a penalty coming on Braff. Stewart kept his legs going. Nick, you talk about this all the time, keeping your legs going, and that's exactly what Danny Stewart of the Blaze did there.
You keep your feet moving. Here's Stewart coming around, and there you can see the hold right there. He goes to try and take the body, but the thing is that his angle, he's in behind. He's got to wrap around. If he could keep even up against Stewart, shoulder against shoulder, then that would have been fine, but he had to reach in front of him.
Power play time for the Coventry Base. 5 seconds of 5-on-3. Weaver wants it. Weaver wants it. Weaver's got it. Gives it back to Hoppy. Quick pass to Calder. And Cruikshank again makes a save. Now it's another 5-on-4 power play. Vickerdale's back onto the ice. Gets his stick in to Calder. Weaver finds Coulson. Calder makes his way to the net. Coulson shoots across Cruikshank. And Vickerdale has an out. Vickerdale hits the red line. Vickerdale hits the blue line. Vickerdale takes a shot. Weaver makes the, intercepted. And Vickerdale got to the loose puck. Good work, David Vickerdale. Weaver doesn't look that clever on his skates right now. Twice there.
Do you know what? He's been logging a lot of ice time, though, Dave. He might just be tired.
Cloutier makes a long pass to Coulson. It comes to Curtis Hoppy. Petro steps up on it. Bouncing puck finds Cloutier. Cloutier now to Adam Calder. Calder steps in, hammers one, and Parakovan got his stick to it, and it just ends up in the roof of the building.
Don't forget Weaver, you know, he's coming back from that broken foot. What is his third game, and there's Calder with the shot at taking a deflection. Yeah, Weaver might just be tired, Dave. He's so key, especially with Neil Martin out of the lineup with that suspected shoulder injury.
Yeah, I just didn't expect Gary Campbell to skate away from Weaver the way that he did. But Weaver has to be all things to all people, doesn't he? He has to be your best defenseman, your best offensive defenseman. He has to be your key on your power play.
And on this power play, let's watch when they make those passes to him, because it's all about movement, filling lanes, and getting the pass at the right time.
Well, Weaver's waiting for it at the back end. But Owen has it right now. Just 35 seconds left on this power play. Here is Weaver. Now he seems to be moving fine. Now he throws it at the net. Cruikshank scored it. Cowley comes in and just swings his stick at it. And the loose puck bobbles and hits Cruikshank on the shoulder. Cowley's made some room. He's looking for the pass. Instead it comes to Weaver. Weaver's got Cowley ahead of him. Back to Casey Timmins. Timmins finds Barry Moore. Moore holds on to it. Stewart's just in front, but Cowley's peeled away. Cowley gets it back to Weaver. Handful of seconds on the 5-on-4 now. Cowley through traffic, but it hits Petro on a deflection, and now Chambers.
And see, Weaver should have been hit with that pass quicker.
5-on-5 as it comes to Cowley, and he just throws a wrist shot into the glove of Curtis Cruikshank, and he'll swallow those up all day.
Cowley had a chance to hit Weaver first, and then puck bobbled, he went for the second time, but that's what I mean. Weaver then had his back to the far wall. When Weaver's moving laterally across the blue line, no one's better than him at doing it. You got to hit him while he's in the high slot area, and then he can rag it out wide.
And let's be honest, Nick, we came in here tonight, and I got to be honest, I thought Coventry 3 or 4 goal win, second leg final, nothing to play for, all over. Basingstoke have just kicked me over.
You're predictable, Dave, though.
Kicked me in the backside and said, hell, you're right, David.
Every time we've been in this building with Basingstoke, they've impressed us.
Fair play to them. They have absolutely shone tonight. Utmost respect. Here comes Carlson. And you know what? Coventry haven't come in here and not given an effort. They've given a great effort. Here's Cloutier. Couldn't find the net. Cruikshank had got most of it covered. Cloutier will be a little upset he never got better timber on that one. Here's Carlson back to Weaver. Weaver on the net looking for Cloutier coming in from the outside. Timmins takes a shot from long range. Braff out muscles Carlson. But Coventry are fighting to keep the puck in the offensive zone. They do. Braff again. Braff and Cloutier. Goes to Dan Carlson on the backhand. Back to Cloutier. Cloutier's joined the line here with Hoppy. Cloutier battling. Hoppy, here's a chance. Hoppy shot. Deflected. And you know what Basingstoke are doing? They're just putting bodies as well in front of the puck. And they don't mind sacrificing their bodies in front of the puck. And there's a guy who's done it, Derek Campbell. There's Cruikshank. You know what, when you see a performance like this some 50 minutes in, you have to say, how are they in 9th place, the Bison? It's because that on the road, is certainly on the road, you can't play with 10 players. No. Greg Owen, who personifies what the Bison are all about, work ethic. Here's Owen, he's created some space for himself, makes a smart pass, Parokanen just with a hammer. Chambers keeps it in, only just, it gets deflected off Calder. Weaver jumps in on the play, 3-on-3, but you see Basingstoke, they've got back well. Here's Barry Moore. Chambers again with an out. Jonathan Weaver, quick pass again to Adam Calder. Calder feeds down the right-hand side for Stewart. Moore's made his way in front of the net. Calder on a drop pass, gets it to Weaver, who hammers. And Cruikshank was still looking for that after it hit the plexiglass, went through traffic. Cruikshank grimacing in goal for the Bison. There's a change, line change. And are we going to see too many men on the ice? We are.
Yeah.
Well, if that linesman's called that, he's got better eyesight than me. There was a guy going to the door, and Stewart jumps off the other side.
Well, you're allowed a few feet.
You're
but
allowed, yeah.
I mean, he took a whole bench.
Well, I think that's a little unlucky enough.
Yeah.
Bench minor penalty against the Coventry Blaze. Then too many men. Last time Coventry had a power play, it was Basingstoke's chance to score short-handed. 2 short-handed goals tonight. And a little bit of frustration. Calder snapping. Here's Campbell short-handed. Here's Aldridge. Koenig denies. And Koenig's come to the table, hasn't he? 2 great saves a few minutes ago. A third one then. Here's Adam Calder again. Power play time for Coventry. And just hack and chop on Calder, getting in Calder's face. Campbell and Calder are hacking and chopping, and Calder throws a right into Campbell. Campbell had already taken Calder down. Nigel Boniface saw it all, but in fairness to Nigel Boniface, he's letting the men play tonight.
That's right, yeah.
We've seen some referees call it like a bally competition, but Boniface is calling it like grown men playing.
This is one of the first times all year I've seen Coventry really in a bit of a kerfuffle. They're starting to yell at each other. What, you know, you saw Calder with that aired pass there, yelling why his guy wasn't there. But really, I mean, he should have had his head up.
Stewart and Cloutier battling down low, and in fact 4 players down low at the moment, and Basingstoke have an out, and they have an out down the right-hand side with Owen, and can they find Chambers? Look how Chambers takes that. Chambers versus Koenig, tries to find Owen, loose puck out in front, Petro couldn't just jump on it. Greg Chambers yet again doing the simple things, and every single Bison player deserves the credit so far here. Just over 7 remain, still power play time. Cowley's in front, and Barry Moore couldn't find him. Here's Weaver, all alone, hammers one, loose puck out in front, bounces over Danny Stewart's stick. Smoking of the Basingstoke Bison. 5 seconds remain then on the power play. Last bite of the cherry. In fact, the power play's over now. Casey Timmins makes a long pass. Here is a chance out in front, and Barry Moore just couldn't get his stick to that. Well, I'd love to see that one again, because surely somebody must have been holding Barry Moore's stick. Here's Danny Stewart for the hat-trick. Cuts it across, and this time it's Brad Cruikshank that can't find the almost empty net. But I can't believe Barry Moore's missed there. Somebody must have been holding his stick as the puck went across the crease. Here's Danny Stewart. How'd you pick a man of the match tonight? But Danny Stewart must be one of the contenders. James Pease. He's looking for an outlet. He gives it to Dan Carlson. Carlson's pass goes right into the left hand of Derek Campbell. And Campbell winces, and now Campbell has it. And Campbell and Watkins battle. To Chambers. I've been impressed with every Basingstoke Bison player.
Just the way Campbell didn't panic there and made sure that, you know, he made another pass to Chambers, who had a better angle dumping the puck in. Just smart.
Vicadil has got his hands on his knees there, puffing and panting. That's what an effort he has put in. Every Bison player has put that effort in. They're playing for their lives. They're 4-2 up in the first leg of the final of the British Knockout Cup. The Bison in a final. Everybody went, what? The Bison are going to probably take an advantage into this final. Here's Greg Wood. Greg Wood holds on to the puck. Don't give it away is the message that comes from down below. Eric Braff sags low. Chambers on another shift. It might only be two-line hockey, but they're just giving it all. Here's a chance for Petro from the outside. And rebounds off the stick of Danny Stewart. Wow.
Oh, what a great display of hockey by this home team. I'm super duper impressed. Super duper, that's the first time I've said that this year.
You know what, Nick? This is why we love this sport, eh? Played by men, absolutely giving their all. Is this a hook? Watch the puck come across.
Well, you know, that's just good defensive play. You know, you stick on stick, you can do that. And, you know, we've had 3 or 4 chances there. The Coventry Blaze, 9 times out of the 10, they'd be 3 goals up by now.
Long outlet pass looking for Cowley. Cowley had just broke the zone, gets to the loose puck first, turns Petro. Can he feed inside where Huppy's on his way and coming? And Campbell just gets a wrist shot to it and just clears it out of the zone. Owen, heads up play. That's how smart Greg Owen is. Most players would have just hammered that down, but he knew he just had a millisecond, and he took that millisecond to see what his options were. Stewart, who battles. There's more to him than just battling, though. As we said, 21 goals this year. For a guy who came in as a third liner and now plays on a first, second line regularly and has got some silky moves. We've seen lots of goals from him in this building on Sky Sports this year so far. He's played smart as well, doesn't give the puck away lightly. Campbell finds Braff, who's sagged low. Wood is there for support. Timmins hammers. These men, real men, just giving it everything they've got right now. 2-on-2, Barrymore, but it just trickles off his stick. Vickerdale couldn't clear. Barrymore still gets to that puck first, gives it to Dan Carlson. Man out in front is Cloutier, but Wood gets there first. Fans are on their feet here just cheering both teams. Here's Carlson from close range. Chance out in front, Cloutier. Cruikshank again denied. Cruikshank's been outstanding. Cruikshank butterflies, goes down low. Carlson, hammer from Cloutier. Oh my God, what a glove. What a glove from Cruikshank. I want to see that 3 times.
Well, you know what? He was our one to watch for the Basingstoke Bison, and folks, this is why. You said, Dave, he's going to have to stand on his head to give the Basingstoke Bison a chance. That's standing on your head.
You know, when he's confident, nothing beats him. Look at that, bang. Great stuff.
Well, Dave, been an outstanding display by all of the Basingstoke Bison, but I think we're unanimous on the man of the match for the Basingstoke Bison, or for this whole game.
Well, you know what, it could have been Curtis Stewart. Yeah, it could have been Curtis Cruikshank, but we went with Danny Stewart. He took his 2 goals well.
Yeah, but
you know, when you score 2 in a cup final, you should get some credit for it.
And his work ethic, his defensive play as well.
That's right, as the puck rebounds round. Danny Stewart has worked in the offensive zone and the defensive zone. Here's Calder! And a blocker save from Cruikshank. We were right in line with that. That was going top shelf. Cruikshank came out a couple of feet and got the blocker well up to it. Coventry fans trying to egg on their team here. They're all on their feet, but the Bison fans cheering for this Basingstoke side. Danny Carlson looking for the Timmins, who had sagged in. Timmins has got Soderstrom one way, but goes for Calder. Back to Russ Cowley. So it's Cowley now who's playing with Carson and Calder. And Barry Moore moved on to the Cloutier line. Soderstrom grimaces as he comes all the way down. He wants to get to that puck quickly as he possibly could.
Yeah, fast to try and save some seconds on the clock so that they can try and get 2 goals in 2 minutes here.
I kind of hope it stays, this 2-goal advantage. It makes next week very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Final 2 minutes. Curtis Huppy chips into the corner. Here is Danny Stewart. And you know what, Basingstoke are quite happy, aren't they, with the 2-goal advantage right now. They're not pushing anything else further forward. They're chipping out when they get the opportunity to. Here's Danny Stewart, but Timmins gets his backhand. Vickerdale. You know what, Vickerdale could have had that man of the match. He's been great as well. What a shocking pass from Campbell. He's put Vickerdale in trouble. And here's Stewart. There's a man at the back door. It's Cloutier, and Cloutier couldn't get to it.
Yeah, Vickerdale, how he stepped up physically has really made this third period for the Bison.
Campbell put his team in all kinds of trouble there. Errant pass in the neutral zone, and Aldridge hits the red line and chips in. And then goes and chases it. He's been working hard for 59 minutes and he's still giving everything he's got, Ryan Aldridge. Weaver, heads up play. Last minute of this third and final period. Puck's going to come back out to Weaver and it bounces high over his stick. No chance, of course, of pulling a goalie tonight.
Yeah,
because this one's going to go to next week. I'm sure Coulson was offside, but he's got the loose puck here. Tries to find Barry Moore. Moore reassociated with Coulson and Calder once again. Barry Moore throws one at the net. There's a man at the back door. It was Soderstrom. He gets a crush check right in the arch of the back through his troubles. Basingstoke chip out. They are less than 30 seconds away from a fantastic victory in the first leg of the British Knockout Cup final. Weaver gets it to Calder. 15 seconds, Calder drives one, gets deflected. And it gets deflected off Chambers. Super block, wasn't it, by Chambers? Long shot from the outside from Soderstrom. Cruikshank puts his glove on it. 4 seconds left. And I have to say, if I wasn't holding a microphone, I'd be standing with the Basingstoke fans and I'd be cheering them and clapping them as well. I've been that impressed with what they've put into tonight.
Likewise. Hats off to the Bison. And let's hope that they can all get rested up for that second leg, and let's see a barn burner in Coventry.
I have to say, you know, if Basingstoke sold out last week against Cardiff, and you're watching this on a Friday night, I don't know whether Basingstoke play Saturday or Sunday, check your local paper, but you should get down here and sell this place out every night, because Basingstoke have committed, have given their all, and have won the first leg final of the British Knockout Cup by 4 goals to 2. Danny Stewart at one end scoring the goals, doing great defensive work. Curtis Cruikshank, simply phenomenal in goal for the Bison. Off his sick bed. We're going to have so much to look back at in our next part of the show. Don't you go anywhere. All the goals and coaches' reactions to come.
Welcome back to Basingstoke, folks, for the first leg of the British Knockout Cup final between Basingstoke and Coventry. And the Bison are taking a 2-goal lead into Coventry next week. Well, folks, you expected the league leaders, or the league winners, the Coventry Blaze, coming into Basingstoke and perhaps dominating this game. But the Basingstoke Bison played absolutely amazing, Dave, and they really treated us to 60 minutes of great hockey.
Outstanding. Just outstanding. The work ethic, everything about Basingstoke tonight. You know, they're not the greatest team. They play with such a short bench and bodies, and you have to give them absolute credit for what they did tonight. Because
the Basingstoke came out the way they wanted to in the first period here, and getting on the board this quick.
Well, Basingstoke couldn't have expected this, could they? This is their big line, Chambers and Cruikshank, and there was Owen to finish off. And it was a nice finish as well. How did Owen get to the net, though, without anybody going anywhere near him?
Well, that was the cross-up on the of the defenseman of the Coventry Blaze. 2 guys going to 1 guy.
But we know the Coventry Blaze, if they got one thing, they got Coulson and they got Calder. And he fired the puck through Cruikshank. And you know what? When the first 2 goals went past Curtis Cruikshank, I thought to myself, I wonder whether that illness is really still with him. You know, he went on to have the night of his life. Yeah. And this is still the goal that got through him. Adam Calder is just, and here's the short-hander. This is for the 2-1. And Petro should have just took him down, shouldn't he?
Well, that was the problem. Basingstoke weren't playing that physical up until then, were they?
Not at all.
And that is just, that's a gift.
Take a penalty there. You have to take a penalty there. Petro has to just kill the guy, and he didn't. Just before the end of the second period, though, there's Stewart with his first of the night, and that was the goal that changed the whole basis of the game.
Well, Dave, you know what? Anyone's going to say you can't let a goal in the last minute of any period, the first or last minute of any period, and that got...
And that's exactly what Coventry did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did all through the way through the game.
And then straight back into the second period, and now you're expecting maybe Coventry to get a hold of it, but then this poor giveaway.
Shocking giveaway. James Peters will have him in nightmares. But I tell you what, Ryan Aldridge, I thought should have shot it, but he did the smart thing. A great little pass back and a super
You see, Aldridge, he has a chance to shoot it there, but he plays it back to Stewart, who has a better angle. at goal, and he punishes
And
Koenig.
Stewart finishes well. I think Aldridge, though, you know, at the start of this season, I knew nothing about Ryan Aldridge as a coach, as a player, and he's come into this league, the first time he's played at this level, and he's not the most gifted of guys, but he works as hard as any guy in the league, and he leads his team in that way, doesn't he? Credit to him.
He led them right into the third period.
Oh, certainly. Certainly, and what about this for a
This is
short-hander?
a huge goal, and, you know, Jonathan Weaver, the hook.
Fell a little bit fortunate with the rebound, but again, in the same way as Petro with Carlson, why isn't Weaver hacking and chopping this guy down? He's going to get the penalty anyway. So you know what? If you're going to get a penalty for a little hook, you might as well get a penalty for an absolute whack and chop.
Well, unbelievable display by the
Two great short-handed goals, though.
All right. Well, earlier on, you caught up with both head coaches. Here's what they had to say.
Ryan, I'm amazed you or any of your team can even stand up, let alone come and do an interview. It's been a long time since I've seen a team work that hard.
Yeah, we knew what we had to, we had to outmatch their intensity, and I think for the first time in a long time we did that. Right from the first drop of the puck, we got an early goal, and that helped us.
You got that early goal. Coventry come back 2-1, and a lot of heads would have gone down, but you just kept on battling.
Yeah, exactly. We got another lucky goal at the end of the period there, and that happened a couple of weeks ago, and we lost a couple of goals quick the next period, so we focused on making sure we played strong defence at the start of the next period, and luckily we came out heads up.
Nick and I couldn't work out man of the match. We gave it to Danny Stewart for his 2 goals. Your announcer here gave it to the whole team. He was probably right, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think all the boys played their nuts off tonight, so gonna have a couple of beers and relax a little bit now and have a break tomorrow.
Is it a tough one this coming weekend? You're still within a chance of the playoffs, but you know you've got this second leg final next week in Coventry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously all the guys are going to be focused on the cup. It's always nice to have silverware, and this year, the year of all years, we really want to taste that silverware. So hopefully we'll just go through this weekend, try our best, but our focus is on the cup now.
Okay, credit to you, well done.
Thank you very much.
A disappointing night, Paul, your thoughts?
Not good enough, Dave. We had chances, but the goals we give up tonight were, I expect under 10 team to be more solid at the back than we were tonight, and individual mistakes and 4 seconds to go in a period, and we give up that type of goal to give them the momentum going into the second, and not good enough. They battled hard, and we know what they're about. They're short bench, they play it so well, and we didn't get going, we didn't get our forecheck going. Yeah, we had chances, we didn't finish, and they did. They get 4 or 5 chances a game, they normally score 2 or 3. That's the type of team they are, and Cruikshank absorbs a lot of pressure and gives them confidence back there, but credit to them, but that wasn't a great Blaze performance tonight.
You tried to shuffle your lines up, we saw that in the commentary booth. What was your thoughts behind that?
Well, nothing was happening out there, Dave. We had a lot of puck possession and in the offensive zone, but nothing was happening, and I just needed a spark, and the only spark I got tonight, to be honest with you, was Dan Carlson.
What about Neil Martin? He went off injured. Any reports on him, or is it too early to say?
It's too early to say, but he's not looking good for the second leg right now. So he's a huge miss for us. But when Weaver was out, Neil Martin picked the team up by the scruff of the neck, and it needs a couple of the other guys doing the same for the second leg now. It's far from over, Dave, but I am disappointed overall in our game tonight.
Well, we never want to see star players injured, and it definitely did affect the Coventry Blaze, losing a leader like Neil Martin.
You don't miss a guy like Neil Martin for no reason, do you? And we thought it was his knee at first,
well,
didn't we?
I'm thinking
that left knee came across.
Because of the way these teams gone off to the start. I mean, Coventry were really on their back heels, and you can see Neil Martin is never on his back heels, and he's never a step behind. And there, he was a half step. He wanted to get tight up against those boards, and he didn't. And that's why, that little bit of a foot, and then you get hit by Campbell, who's a train, and then you take the hit off the boards. And
well, it's a nasty one, and you knew Neil Martin was hurt because Neil Martin doesn't stay down.
No.
We thought knee, it's his shoulder. I've just seen him get onto the team bus, and he looks a little tender.
Okay, now let's think about the second leg in Coventry, and how important is Neil Martin coming back into the lineup, or?
Paul doesn't seem to think he will play,
No.
does he? We just heard that in the interview. And like Paul said, when Jonathan Weaver was out of the lineup, Neil Martin was the guy who stepped up. We heard Tomo say, get on my shoulders and come with me. Now who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be Weaver or Cloutier?
Okay. Just quickly out of that, let's go Basingstoke, 9th place in the league right now, okay?
Yeah.
And we said, why are they a ninth place team? They play so well here.
They do play well here. They should win more hockey games here. On the road, they're obviously a different team and having so few players.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what I did like tonight. The Basingstoke fans got behind their team at last.
Yep.
They've listened and they've got behind their team. And with Cardiff beating Edinburgh up in Scotland tonight by 3-0. The playoffs isn't out of the question
Yep.
either, you know.
It
There's only
could-
2
it
points
could all
between
go-
those two teams.
It could all go down to the wire, couldn't it?
Every time.
All right, folks, well, you've been treated to a real great game here, but if you can get to any rink around this weekend and catch a game, here are the games coming up this weekend, and of course there's some big important ones there.
Well, there is, you know what, everybody's fighting for those positions, Newcastle and Coventry. Certainly in the Sunday, it's going to be a full lineup. Every single team plays.
And our next game coming to you here on Sky Sports will be the second leg of the British Knockout Cup. Coventry plays against the Basingstoke Bison, 2 p.m. and at 8:30 p.m. on Sky Sports 3. Thank you very much, Dave.
My pleasure, Nick.
And thank you very much for joining us here on Sky Sports. We'll see you next time.